Hello and welcome to the 72 show where we're going to be talking about all the latest talking points in the EFL. As ever, I'm joined by our social media manager, Adam Reek. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Let's start off talking about the FA Cup over the weekend. There was a few upsets. Kidderminster almost got one over West Ham. Plymouth played well against Chelsea. I watched that game, a good game. Hartlepool did well at Crystal Palace. Cardiff did well at Liverpool. Bournemouth knocked out by Boreham Wood, and Forest overcoming Leicester 4-1. Any standout games for you over the weekend?
With that Kidderminster one, isn't it? I think if they won, that would have been the biggest FA Cup upset in history in terms of placings. So if they could have just held on for, what was it, about 20 more seconds before Declan Rice put it in the top corner and done a Michael Jackson dance. And then Yarmolenko diving as well. Did you see that?
No, that was awful. That was awful.
Embarrassing.
That was on the same time as the Plymouth game. And I watched the Plymouth game. They were unbelievable. They shut out Chelsea for most of the game. So many Premier League teams played such strong sides over the weekend, didn't they? And
Good to see. That is good to see.
Yeah, great to see. Probably the biggest talking point of the FA Cup was Nottingham Forest beating Leicester 4-1. An amazing result for Nottingham Forest, amazing performance. But what everyone's talking about is the Leicester fans. Before the game, they were trashing up the city centre, throwing bar stools around everywhere. During the game, only one of their fans, this isn't about Leicester fans as a whole, it's about this one Leicester fan, ran onto the pitch, punched Keenan Davis in the face, was it? I mean, what's going through this guy's head?
I don't know. Probably nothing at all. Look, I get it's a derby. It's quite close by. There's never, ever an excuse to pick up tables and chairs and throw it at a restaurant that's got families and kids in. Look, if you're part of that group or hooliganism that wants to go to football matches and fight, then do it in a back alley. Whoever it is, get the number of the opposition team, get their fans and take them down a back alley. Don't start walking around the street, chucking chairs off windows. Or just a better idea, just don't do it at all. Go to the pub with your mates, have a drink and enjoy the game. Look, I'm a Sunderland fan. We've probably got arguably the best rivalry in England, Sunderland Newcastle. Never once have I thought, do you know what it is? I'm going to go to Newcastle today, pick up this chair and just smash it off a glass window. Like, you wouldn't do that on a Friday afternoon. You wouldn't do it on a Tuesday morning. Why would you do it on Saturday, 3 p.m? Just because it's a football match? I don't understand it. Like I say, I get that people have that desire to have a drink and get all rowdy and stuff. But if you're all going to do that, and there's opposition fans that want to do that, take it down a back alley or just don't do it at all. That's the better answer. Just don't do it at all.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing, isn't it? Well, I want to say it's putting young people off going to the football, but you've seen that video of the Leicester fans in the Nottingham City Centre. The majority of them are young football fans. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's got into them. But anyway, on to the EFL, and a big talking point of the last week, Steve Bruce is back in management with West Brom. He signed an 18-month deal after the club sacked Valerian Ismail at the start of the month. First question I want to put to you, were West Brom right to sack Ismail when they did?
Yes, and that because it goes back to something I said 6 months ago. They should have never appointed him. He was never the right man for West Brom. They're one of the best teams in the Championship, one of the biggest clubs in the Championship, and they're appointing a manager that succeeded at Barnsley as the underdog playing horrendous football. Why would you then transform that and take it to the best team in the league? There's nothing that makes sense about that. Like, it's mind-numbing, and I feel sorry for West Brom fans, and I feel sorry for them because I put a tweet out the other day. In the last half dozen years, they've had Sam Allardyce, Tony Pulis, Alan Pardew, and now Steve Bruce. And it's like, what do you want? Like, you're just appointing managers based off names, merry-go-rounds, managers, friends of friends. Like, just have something about you. Create a process, create an identity. Like, go and get ahead of recruitment. who understands what, and then like English football nowadays, go and get a manager who can then give him what the head of recruitment, the type of football he wants. Go and get a sporting director. There's got to be a bigger plan in place than just appointing a 70-year-old manager every 5 years. It's stupid, and honestly, I feel sorry for West Brom fans, and I feel sorry for them probably more than any other fans in England at the moment, because they do have ambition, the fans, and they should be at the top of the Championship, bottom half of the Premier League, but they're not. They're just, I don't know. Like, there's when you've got the same process in place of just appointing 65-year-old dinosaurs, then it'll never work.
Yeah, it's obviously a controversial appointment, isn't it? But I think among West Brom fans, they're kind of split. Like, half think it's a good appointment, half think it's just another kind of Allardyce Pulis appointment. Myself, I'm not a West Brom fan, but I think this is a decent appointment. I think Steve Bruce, you know, he had a horrible time at Newcastle, but you look at it, he kept them up without spending like a fraction of what they spent last month. Obviously, the football wasn't great, but I think he'll do all right. Though West Brom, they need to kind of get they need an identity, don't they? Look at these other teams in the Championship who aren't just trying to throw everything at promotion season after season. They're trying to build like a sustainable promotion. Look at QPR, Mark Warburton, 3 years in charge now. The first 2 seasons weren't that great. Second half last season they come good, and this season they look like title contenders. Same at Blackburn, they've struggled in the past, but they've been building towards something towards this season. So yeah, West Brom, they need a more long-term placing plan, don't they? I'm sure the fans would rather see them in the Championship for say 3 years to then go and see them in the Premier League for 5 or 10 years rather than every other season, because it just gets boring, doesn't it? It's like
even if he takes them up,
League, like,
even if he takes them up, it's not fresh. Like you say, they need something long term. It's not fresh. Like, go and get a young manager who's just done his coaching badges. He's got new ideas. Like, I don't know. I just feel as if West Brom fans, they're probably used to it now anyway. As sad as that sounds.
It is sad. I want to point out the example at Brentford about in terms of building the long-term thing. So you say West Brom went up season before last, relegation favourites. If they go up this season, relegation favourites. Brentford went up last season. Nobody tipped them for relegation because they had a long-term plan in place. They've been building towards a Premier League for so long that when they get there, they make a pretty good addition to the Premier League.
What I'd say is Premier League fans tip them to go down, but I think like ourselves, people who know the Championship, never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Another manager, Steve Bruce, former Sunderland manager, Roy Keane, former Sunderland manager, maybe soon to be a Sunderland manager again. What do you make of Roy Keane? He's due for a second interview this week. He's preferred over the likes of Grant McCann and Alex Neil. He's got a lucrative TV deal with Sky, isn't he, that he might have to drop to take this Sunderland job. As a Sunderland fan, what are you making of all of this?
I don't know myself, to be fair. I feel like, well, first of all, if Roy Keane's in the running with other managers and we've given him a call and said, "Hi, Roy, we'd like you to come for a second interview," I don't want to know what Roy Keane said back to that. I think he's the manager. He's the type of person who'd say either gives the job or go and get someone else. I'm not coming back and forth from to Sunderland. In terms of the appointment, see, we've been building something nicely over the last 12 months with Lee Johnson, and it all came from our owner KLD and Speakman. And it's like we were talking about West Brom, it feels more like a long-term process of what we're building. And I feel like if we bring in Roy Keane, he kind of scraps that. But I am all for it. For 6 months, I wouldn't give him after that. But if for 6 months, you can come in, you can raise the standards of the club, because there's too many players at this club that just shouldn't be nowhere near it. And do you know what it is? As a Sunderland player, why would you want to get promoted? You're never going to play for a club this size again. And if we go up, they're going to be let go. So why would you want to get promoted? Now, I feel as if sometimes that can affect the performances. And I feel like Roy Keane wouldn't let that happen, because they'd be scared shitless to do something bad. And If that's the case for 6 months, then allow it. Let him come in and do what he does. But long term, I'd rather Alex Neil was in. Perfect situation. Roy Keane comes in for 6 months, raises the standards. we get to see, which players are up to it, which players aren't, and then in the summer we go and get Alex Neil. That's what I'd like personally.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I don't know why Sunderland seems so keen on Roy Keane. Like he's
Like
obviously got that
no other club
mentality.
would. No other club would. It's just because
No.
he's been here before. That's the only thing that's given the advantage.
I think we've spoken about it before. This kind of obsession with modern football clubs and appointing someone who's got a kind of connection to the club. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Roy Keane not managed in 10 years. Like I don't even see an argument for him becoming Sunderland manager, in my opinion.
It's
Other
no
than the
different
fact
between
that he's a
Souness.
motivator. He's a
Yeah,
motivator, isn't he? That's all he'd be. He'd have someone else arguably picking the team for him, obviously giving him tactical advice, all that kind of thing. So, and then, we've heard all these stories about Roy Keane in the past, how he was probably a bit of a dick when he was in charge of Sunderland and Ipswich. That was obviously a long time ago. He seems to have calmed down a bit now. But what if Sunderland get Roy Keane in on a longer term deal? Things turn sour between him, the players, the board, and then KLD's obviously sat there. He's like, I've got this guy, Roy Keane, I want to sack, but I don't really want to sack him because he might kick up a fuss. But is that a possibility? Is that something that could happen?
Yeah. See, I think that what you've just alluded to there is the only problem with him, because I feel like with Lee Johnson, he was our manager, but he wasn't the focal point of the club. I feel as if from the outside looking in, he had no more power than the players did. He was just, you've got the players, you've got the manager, we're all together. Whereas with Roy Keane, like you say, his aura, his name, what comes with the title of Roy Keane and what comes with the title as Roy Keane, Sunderland manager, you've suddenly got the players, the owner, the club, and then Roy Keane's up here, and it's more like a dictatorship kind of thing. And like you say, if things go sour, it can affect the whole process, which is the only risky thing. I'm obviously on Twitter. Sunderland fans are buzzing. They're like every day refreshing the feed. Oh, has he signed yet? Has he signed yet? Has he came in? I'm not one of them. I'm not overly fussed about him. If we get him in, that's nice. But if we don't get him in, and we get someone like Grant McCann or someone, things will turn sour, because the Sunderland fans are excited now about Roy Keane, and the last person we want is just someone who's just been floating about the AFL like Grant McCann. The only person who I'd accept if it isn't Roy Keane is Alex Neil. And I think the Sunderland's boards, the Sunderland Spawn Director and the Sunderland owner has put themselves in this position now where they can't mess up, because our season's done. Our season's dead in the water. The automatics have gone. I'd just like to say we're not too bad to miss out on the playoffs. So I feel as if the season is gone and it's just about waiting until the playoffs. And that's because of the Sunderland board. They've got to blame themselves for that. They thought Doncaster was an easy win, and they thought, we'll give it to these two blokes. Proctor and Dodds, never heard of them. We'll give it to these, we'll get 3 points, and we'll go to Cheltenham on Tuesday. Well, no, we lost to Doncaster, and I'll tell you now, we'll probably lose tonight. And we need a manager in for Saturday. We need it in, and it needs to be Roy Keane to get the standards up. Or like I say, Alex Neil, and then for Alex Neil in the summer.
I'm just looking at the League One table. You said Sunderland out of automatic promotion contention. I just looked, they're 2 points behind Wigan in second. I thought, what's he on about? Wigan have got 4 games in hand. Rotherham have got a game in hand, and they're 8 points ahead. So,
Yeah.
But MK Dons, they're coming good now. They've overtaken Sunderland in the league. Third place, Liam Manning, he's done a quality job, hasn't he?
Yes.
Wickham dropped down into 6th. How do you think the League One promotion race is kind of forming up?
I think the 2 automatic spots are taken, Rotherham and Wickham. I think the playoffs, it'll be us, MK Dons, Wickham, and then I fancy Sheffield Wednesday. I said at the start of the season, even when they were like 11th, 12th, I said Sheffield Wednesday. And if Sheffield Wednesday get into the playoffs, I would fancy them. Honestly, I would. And then Bolton fans think they'll be in the playoffs as well. And they're halfway down the league. It's a good season. But like you say, Lee Manning, someone I'd have taken about 2 months ago. I think we spoke about this before, actually. I think because Lee Johnson went through that rough patch, didn't he, where we got beat off Sheffield Wednesday, got beat off Rotherham, got beat off Charlton, and we had an episode and I said, go and get Lee Manning now. Obviously, the club never listens, so they obviously don't watch the 72 show. 3 months down the line, we're in a far worse position.
Exactly.
So,
I think it was earlier in the season, Alan Nixon said in the Sun on Sunday that, and this was like November time, that League One clubs were looking at Liam Manning.
It was a League One club chasing promotion that wanted Lee Manning. We were the only club that fit the criteria, weren't we?
Definitely. Another good appointment for MK Dons. This is again touching on the subject of having a long-term plan in place. They had a long-term plan in place with Russell Martin. They lost him unexpectedly before the start of the season, but they didn't worry about it. They brought in Liam Manning, did their due diligence, brought in some. Where was he before, in Scandinavia or somewhere?
Yeah, he was. But was it not Belgium? I think it might have been Belgium. It was Belgium. And he was West Ham. He was a coach at West Ham as well.
Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday. I really like Sheffield Wednesday. I think they will get top 6, and I think they're coming good now because they've got such a big squad that when you pass that halfway mark in the season, every other team, they're picking up injuries. Sheffield Wednesday, like, got an injury, no problem, we'll get someone else in. They've got such a big team, but they're inconsistent, aren't they? Sheffield Wednesday under Darren Moore. Let's talk about the Championship again, and a team that might be playing in League One next season, probably will be, is Barnsley. Poya Asbaghi, brought in from Sweden under 21 side, winless in the league, and reports this week have claimed that Barnsley are looking at Neil Warnock potentially coming in for the rest of the season. Barnsley, I believe, are 9 points away from safety at the bottom of the table. Warnock and Barnsley, can you see that being a fit? Should they stick with Asbaghi going into League One?
No, I like the thought of Warnock. I feel as if Barnsley, they've had a lot of success. They've had a lot of success doing what they've been doing, going outside the box, getting a randomer from a foreign country. I think, just go and get Neil Warnock. Do you know what it is? Even have a season with Neil Warnock in League One. Why not? Just, they've got good players. They have got good players. Like Callum Styles was the best left wing back in the league last season. He hasn't played in that position at all this season. Callum Britton's the same. Obviously they lost Daryl Dike, but they obviously lost Alex Mowat. But they've got Michael Hellick, Apu Helm. There's good players there, and I feel as if Neil Warnock, he'll tighten them up at the back. He'll get the likes of Styles and Britton high up in the pitch. Coley Woodrow obviously hasn't had the best of season, but there's a player in there. And I think if they were to go down this season with Neil Warnock, he'll probably get them back up next year.
Yes, it's a difficult season with Barnsley. Obviously, they lost Valerian Ismail in summer, as well as their CEO, Dave Murphy, went to Nottingham Forest. Now, Nottingham Forest's transfer philosophy has completely been turned upside down since Murphy's gone in. They're signing some quality players. Barnsley were doing that for years before with Murphy. They made some quality signings, all young players coming in from all across Europe. But this season, it's just they've just caved in on themselves, haven't they? 17 goals scored in 28 league fixtures, 43 conceded. They're actually 8 away from safety, not 9. I really can't see Barnsley getting out of that. They're just awful. They are such a shocking team this season. I think they will definitely go down alongside Peterborough and either Reading or Derby. I think Hull and Cardiff have both got enough in them to keep their heads out of the relegation zone. But Derby and Reading, I think that's the final relegation spot for grabs. Who can you see beating the drop on this one?
I'm not sure, but I live with the Derby and a Reading fan, so that will be good fun come the end of the season. I'd like Derby too. Obviously, I'd like Derby too. I think everyone wants them too. Reading, they don't give me anything. But then same with Derby, like I said before, like they're getting points, but you can tell. I mean, to be fair, they are mid-table, but again, I don't think both sides have much about them. Derby's got like that never say die attitude and stuff, but they both need a striker that's like the focal point and can guarantee them 15, 20 goals a season. And, that's the reason Reading's at the bottom. Obviously, they had Lucas Shaw last year, but it's not working out this year for him. He might have even been injured, to be fair. But I'd like Derby to stay up, and I think if it's on Reading, if Reading can sort themselves out, then yeah, they'll be fine. But if for me, they're just sleepwalking into the League One at the moment.
Yes, it's kind of Reading's to lose, isn't it? I mean, nobody
Yeah.
expects Derby County to stay up. They stayed up on the last day of the season last season, obviously, and they might do that again this season. But let's look at some Championship fixtures tonight. Coventry at home to Blackpool, Derby at home to Hull, Fulham home to Millwall, Luton against Barnsley, Stoke against Swansea. Any standout fixtures for you there?
Derby Hull. I think Derby Hull's a good game because it's a chance for Derby to get 3 points, isn't it, against a Hull side that's not been brilliant as of late. Obviously, they got that 2-0 win against Blackburn, but apart from that, they've been hit and miss, and I think they lost like 5 in a row or something before then. So, no, this is a great chance for Derby. Really good chance.
Yeah. I really don't think Hull should have sacked Grant McCann. I think that was just a poor football.
Yeah. The problem is though, new owners. New owners. Yeah. He's labelled the Turkish Simon Cowell. He'll want to bring his own man in, won't he?
The Turkish Simon Cowell. Full list of fixtures in both League One and League Two tonight. Some fixtures in League One: Sunderland away at Cheltenham, Doncaster at home to Ipswich, Portsmouth at home to Burton, Sheffield Wednesday at home to Wigan. That's a big game.
Yeah, I think that will be a good test for Sheffield Wednesday, and it will send a message out to the rest of the league. If they can get 3 points from that, then I think the fantastic sign. I think that playoffs will be theirs.
Huge game. Bolton also at home to Charlton. Two teams slowly climbing up the League One table. Let's look ahead to the weekend. Championship fixtures next weekend. Huddersfield at home to Sheffield in the early kickoff. Barnsley at home to QPR. Birmingham Luton. Blackpool Bournemouth. Hull Fulham. Middlesbrough Derby. That'll be a good game. Millwall Cardiff. Forest Stoke. Peterborough Preston. Reading Coventry. Millwall Derby. They've obviously got all that off-field stuff going on at the moment. But Middlesbrough, they're looking unbeatable in the Championship at the moment, aren't they? Seventh place in the table, joint level on points with West Brom in 6th, and with a game in hand. Middlesbrough have also got 2 games in hand on second place Blackburn, and if they win those 2 games, they go to within 2 points of them.
Yeah, well, like you say, the touch and go with the top 3-4 teams, aren't there? They've got Chris Wilder's completely transformed them. Neil Warnock done a great job, but Wilder's just pushed them on. And I done some predictions about a month and a half ago, I think it was, and mine was Middlesbrough to win the playoffs, and I think they will. Yeah. I really do think they will.
Yeah, they're looking so strong. But this second half of the season, we've seen so many teams coming good, like Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, Luton Town, who might get a surprise place in the top 6. What a story that would be for Nathan Jones' side. And looking ahead to League One this weekend, Sunderland away at AFC Wimbledon, Lincoln at home to Wycombe, MK Dons Ipswich. That'll be a good game. Plymouth Shrewsbury, Portsmouth Doncaster, Wigan Athletic at home to Charlton Athletic. Any standouts for you there? How do you think Sunderland will get on away at AFC Wimbledon? I think this morning it was reported that the club wants a manager in place for that game. So let's say Roy Keane's in charge for that Sunderland game this weekend away at AFC Wimbledon. What's the score in that one?
I'll be honest, I don't really have much interest in it now. Like, when you're chasing promotion, the automatics, it's all like, yeah, we've got to keep going and getting 3 points. We can drop so many points from now till the end of the season and still get the playoffs. That's how I feel about it. So I'm not sure. Obviously, it would be nice to get a win. I think Wimbledon, they've drew a lot of games as of late.
Wimbledon, they had that really good start to the season, didn't they?
Yeah.
I can just add it up now if we've got a few minutes. Wimbledon are winless in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in all competitions. They sit in 20th place of the League One table, 1 point above the relegation zone.
And Cheltenham's winless in 12. So
Cheltenham are winless in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. Yeah. Cheltenham drew 2-2 away at AFC Wimbledon last time out. But some exciting EFL fixtures along the way. And we'll be back next week, won't we, to do another another show, maybe another special episode. As ever, if you liked the video, drop us a like, subscribe, comment your thoughts on the video, and join us next week for another episode of The 72 Show.